Good morning, everybody. Well, I'm back live. I didn't think I would be, but I was feeling pretty bad there for a while. Thank all you regular listeners who stuck with us and listened to the reruns that we ran for the past several weeks. Unfortunately, Nancy is got the bug that I had, and we now share the bug. I'm well, she's got it, so Nancy's home today and will not be in, but hopefully she'll be back in next week. Anyway, we welcome you here to the show that will help you buy or lease or maintain or repair your car without being ripped off by a car dealer. That pretty much says it in a nutshell. And we're going to be here until 8, or from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 2 hours. We know you're not going to be with us for 2 hours, but we do want you to check in with us when you have time. If you're driving or you're home or wherever you might be, you can call us. And this number is important. You probably don't want to call us right now, or maybe don't need to, but if you got a pencil or something you can write on safely, I'm going to give you this number out, and it will be several times. That number is 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. And that is the real live telephone, the old-fashioned telephone, some people would say, that we rely on heavily. This is a live radio show, but we also stream it. And we stream it all over. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're just online with TrueOldies.com. So you can pretty much listen to us with podcasts. We're 21st century. I mean, we're in there. This is not an old-fashioned radio show, but it's got that flavor. And live radio is really exciting. It's something I think we'll always have with us, because the immediacy of not knowing what I'm going to say, or Stu Stewart, or Rick Curdy, or Nancy Stewart is going to say, not knowing what the callers will say. And we don't censor anything on this show. I mean, if you say something absolutely terrible, I guess the control room will bleep it out. We have a 20-second delay. But outside of that, it's really, really comes from our hearts as well as our minds. And you can't match that with digital. I mean, real live radio. So all we're doing is digitalizing our live talk radio show. Most exciting thing about the show is our mystery shopping report. And it gets old school to us because we've been doing it for 20 years. But if you haven't heard the show before, think about it. How many of you remember Mike Wallace in 60 Minutes? I mean, 60 Minutes is still there, but the old Mike Wallace thing where he suddenly walks into a business and, the business has been scamming the public, and grabs the CEO or the general manager or somebody and says, hi. Of course, they know who he is, Mike Wallace, and the guy either passes out or turns white or,
runs the other
says
way.
No comment, puts the paper in front of his face. That's what we do when we walk into a car dealership. We walk in unannounced, but we're undercover, so they don't know. It's Agent Lightning. That's the undercover name for our secret shopper, who just really does a marvelous job. And we go and we pretend to buy or lease a car, and we respond to an ad many times, and we just check all the procedures, the legalities. We find so many car dealers out there that are frankly breaking the law. We find most all the car dealers are violating ethical or regulations that are just morals. Rick says we got a call over there. He's sitting in for Nancy. So whatever I'm doing, we go to you callers. So please call. We won't make you wait, I promise.
Good morning to Nancy in Sunrise. First-time lady caller.
Hi.
Hey,
Good
good
morning.
morning, Nancy.
Hello, Nancy.
Hi.
Hey, by the way, when you're finished speaking with us, please stay on the line so our fellow over in the control room can get your mailing details, and we'll have Earl and Nancy get a check out to you for $50 for being one of our first two first-time callers for the ladies.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, Nancy, what's on your mind? I almost thought it was my Nancy, my wife, calling back in because she's homesick. So anything we can help you with, Nancy?
Yes, I have a 2010 Toyota RAV, four-wheel drive V6, the limited edition, and I have 120,723 miles on it as of June 21st of last year. So I took it into a Toyota dealer because I got the oil change and some air filters, and they more or less gave the car a once-over. So they came back and told me, excuse me, I needed a part. And I wrote down the part, and they quoted me a price. The part is VVTI Banjo Bolt Gasket. And they told me the price would be $336 plus tax to put this gasket in. So I'm calling to find out if this is a over-the-top price. There's nothing leaking on the car currently, and right now I have about 126,000 miles on it.
Well, Nancy, Rick will address the technical part of this. The commercial part of this, I would say, you mentioned the cost of a part. Did they quote you anything on the labor cost?
I thought this was all inclusive, but I know that's all they told me. The price would be $336 plus the tax. So I'm not sure if that was
That would
just
include
the
both.
part itself, or
No, that would include
or,
both, probably.
That
If it
would
includes the
include
tax.
both, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm calling. I mean,
before
go
I
ahead.
turn it back over to Rick, I'm going to say this: you should always check. You're doing the right thing. You're checking with us. For a matter of fact, you could call our dealership and we could give you a quote. You could go to another Toyota dealership or two down there in the Sunrise, Fort Lauderdale area. They'll always get a competitive quote. But meanwhile, Rick can address the issue itself.
Nancy, you should bring out your inner Missourian, the show me state. If you say there's no leaks, and they're trying to sell you a what's called a banjo bolt gasket, basically what this is the variable valve timing uses oil pressure, and for a couple of spots they have these little metal tubes that transport the oil from spot to spot on the engine to be able to do this job. And the bolt that goes through it is hollow inside, and it has a special metal gasket that goes around it.
Banjo?
And it literally kind of looks like a banjo because it's round and then has a little piece that comes off
Like
the
a
top
tab.
of it. So it looks like a banjo that got the neck cut off. So that's where it got its name. But anyways, if it's leaking, physically leaking, then yes, it should be replaced. But I would tell them, show me that leak, why you want to replace it. Show me that leak. If they can't show it to you, don't do it. My real advice here, don't go back to that first one, because they should have taken you out to the car and shown you the leak, or shown you a picture of it at the least.
Yeah.
But I would
Right.
go to a different dealership or a different outside shop and get a second opinion on it. And for the cost of it, the $330 some you mentioned, the gasket itself is going to be probably $10 to $12 and should require two of them, one for each end of that little pipe, because when they go to take it off to change it, they're usually going to disturb both of them. So they should replace both. And because of where some of those are located, it can be about an hour and a half to 2 hours labor to get to it. So that is an appropriate price. The only thing I'm questioning is whether they're selling you a leak
necessity.
that doesn't exist,
This, right.
or
Well, you could
Right.
whether you actually do have
or
a
you
small
could
leak that's there.
You can kill two birds with one stone by getting a quote and also asking for the diagnosis from another dealer. If they check it out and they don't see a leak, then chances are their first dealer was misleading you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I haven't had such wonderful experiences with the Toyota dealerships down by me. So this was another one that I tried because I've been to several other ones and not always happy with their take from me. So I jumped around a little bit, different Toyota dealers. I went to a private shop one time for something, but I guess I get leery with private shops. In my mind, I'm hoping they're putting in the correct part. It's not something used. It's really a Toyota-made part. So that's, what happened with that. And I do have one other question. Thank you for all that information. And I do have another question for you. I'm contemplating getting the wheel covers on the car painted, and I believe they're not aluminum. And my husband doesn't think it's necessary because he said the paint's just going to chip off. But I'm sure if I took it to a body place, they could, do it correctly. The aim is I'm not getting rid of this car. I love it, and I want to keep it until it really comes apart totally. It's really giving me no problem. So I have a couple of people that do want to buy it from me, but I told them no. So I just want to know your take on getting the wheels done.
Yeah, I'm one that I like to keep a car for a long time, and sometimes doing something like that to dress it up a little bit makes it like a newer car to you, and it makes it feel more special. So it kind of rejuvenates the car a little bit, even with something as straightforward as just having the wheel covers painted.
Yeah. There's another option.
Yeah.
You can get replacement wheel covers that are like brand new looking, and that really, I don't know anything about painting the wheel covers, but
You can look like on Amazon or something for different. It's basically just a hubcap.
that snaps on.
Well, I think it's just the rim itself.
Oh, okay. Yours might have aluminum rims.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if it's aluminum or steel because this was, my car's a 2010 and it's the special edition, so I know it's not a hubcap.
Okay, then those are going to be aluminum rims.
Yeah, those can be refinished.
Yes, because like we use a company called Turbax. It's Turbax, and they usually deal with the dealerships, but we will send wheels out to them that have accidentally got scraped against curbs, and they are really scratched up and horrible looking.
And they restore them.
And they send them back in a couple days, and they look better than the brand new ones did.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than replacing
Yeah,
them.
the only drawback is your car would have to stay at the shop because they got to take the wheels off and send them out to this place to be done. But then when they come back, they look spectacular. And it can really, like I say, it can make your vehicle kind of rejuvenated to you and feel great.
And this place is through your Toyota dealership?
Yeah, but it's an outside company called Turbax, and every dealership and all automotive shops have access to them.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know because I really would like to, like you say, dress it up. I always take care of the car inside and outside, so
Well, Nancy, stay on the line, and Jeremy in the control room will get your contact information. And then Nancy Stewart, who is out sick this week, but she's still home working, she'll send you a check for $50, and she'll get it out this weekend to you.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thanks so much for taking my call, and have a great day. Thank
You
you
too,
again.
Nancy.
And now we're going to go to John in Palm Springs. Good morning, John.
Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Doing
good.
great. What
I
can we
got
do
a
for you?
question. I got a letter. I've had several letters from Earl Stewart, which I bought my car back in 2017, and I go every 6 months for the maintenance. And this is for a vehicle service contract signed supposedly by Josh Stewart. My question is this thing legitimate?
Weeks ago, and we've called Jim Moran and Associates, which is the company, is actually part of the distributorship that ships us all of our Toyotas. Southeast Toyota is separate from the main Toyota manufacturer, but they are genuine authorized distributor. At any rate, JM&A, Jim Moran Associates, does our service contracts for extended service contracts. They sent this letter out without our knowledge and approval, and we've since told them to modify it and change it.
Right. Here, the service contracts that are offered for sale are legit. They're the same ones that we approved for sale in the dealership. The language, which use kind of like pressure or scare tactics, like it said something like, you're out of warranty, anything can happen, sort of thing. We would prefer if it just said, just a reminder, you're out of warranty. These are available if you'd like. That's basically the gist of it. But Earl personally told our representative to modify it, stop it, and modified it immediately. So if you got something recently, it was probably already in process.
It's hard sell, and we don't like hard sell, especially to our customers. So Jim Moran and Associates, I hope you're out there listening. This is kind of standard operating procedure, by the way, with all extended warranty companies. Hard sell. We don't do hard sell. We think if someone feels on their own that they need an extended service contract, they know how to buy one,
Right.
and we have them available for sale.
Yeah, but the good news, it's not like those Car Shield ads with iced tea.
Yeah. Well, I went ahead and, like a dummy, I went ahead and talked to the guy,
Good.
and I bought it.
Well, it's a legitimate, fair, fairly priced, well-balanced extended service contract. That's what our criteria is. Make something available to the customer that they can make the choice, not feel like if you don't buy it, something bad's going to happen to you. Kind of an approach, which
that was
what
the feeling of that letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I looked on the internet on this number, 866-224-4950, it didn't have a whole lot of good things to say about that.
Well, because it's the same call center that's used by probably hundreds of other dealers that use various, their own style how they market. So.
And the funny thing is, I called, and I was supposed to get this packet in the mail. I called on May 6th, and I even got emails too from Stu or Josh. And I just dismissed those, but I thought I'd call and see what it was about.
Well, thanks to your call, I'm going to follow up with the Jim Moran Associates and find out what the hell's going on, because I told them to stop that letter. If it's still going out, then we'll have to talk about changing companies.
So if I get this packet in the mail, is the thing any good if I take it to your dealership?
Oh, sure. It's good at any dealership in the country. It's a legitimate extended service contract, and our complaint is strictly with the language and the tone. It is a high-pressure sell tactic to sell, which happens to be a good extended service contract.
We don't need to do
but
that.
we don't like to push people to buy anything, cars or an extended service contract.
Yeah, the funny thing is, the guy called me back yesterday, but I didn't catch the phone. So I thought, why would he call me back if he's ripping me off? So.
Well, he's not ripping you off, but he's trying real hard to get you to buy that contract, because he's probably paid commission. Everyone gets sold. He's on commission, so it's I guess you could say that's our capitalist system. The profit motivation sometimes outweighs the moral and ethical consideration.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me see if I get this thing in the mail from him. Yeah, I got one more question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got a thing in the mail from Palm Beach, Mitsubishi, and it had this little game piece on it, where you tear off these tabs, and if you match something, you get a prize. So it says $5,000.
Right.
Now, what's the thing on that thing?
The thing is the fine print, which is so fine you haven't seen it yet. So get your magnifying glass out, and you'll find out what the thing is.
Yeah, it's there. If you study hard enough, you'll find out where the catch is.
It's like your father probably told you, if it's too good to be true, it ain't true.
Okay, that's what it's going in the trash. All right, well, thanks a lot.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for calling.
And now we've got Tricia in Boca Raton, another first-time lady caller. Oh, wait a minute, I beg your pardon. She has called before.
Okay.
I misread the screen. Hello, Tricia.
Yes. Long-time caller, long-time listener, yes. Well, I'm sorry to hear about Nancy. I really wish she feels better, and I'm glad you're feeling better.
Well, I'm taking good care of her, Tricia. I bought some Whole Foods Mom's chicken soup, and we had that delivered. So I'm heating that up for her, and I think it's making her better.
Of course. I was kind of upset. I was calling last week, and no one was answering. No one answered the phone. I said, what the heck's going on? Blah, blah, blah. So I finally heard your recording that it's not live. But I thought you guys maybe were on vacation, but worse. But, I surely hope that chicken soup worked. But I got a little brain teaser for you guys, so I hope you all had your coffee. Okay, this is about my tires again.
Oh boy.
All right. As you know, I don't know if you remember, I had some nice Michelins on my front, and they wore out within 8 to 10,000 miles, and finally they replaced them, right? I don't know if
Right.
you remember that.
I do.
Okay. After a little fight, I did have them rotated. Everything was rotated at 98,000 miles. I have another 1,000 to go for another rotation, but here is the brain teaser. My right front tire is on the outside edge, is very, very bald, as in opposite of very hairy. Very bald, okay? Not the left, okay? The rest of the tire's okay. Now, I just drive, Earl, like you know, I don't drive crazy. I drive, making a lot of rights and lefts slow. I don't do it at 80 miles an hour. It seems no matter what tire I have up there, whether it's a cheap tire or expensive tire, my tires wear out. That is your brain teaser. There is nothing wrong with the front of the car. I've had it checked out, and now I'm getting it even rotated, and I'm still having the same problem.
Rick?
Don't Google and see if there's any issue with the right front tire of a Honda Fit, because there isn't.
We're all
It's a
staring at Rick right
2016
now.
Honda Fit. Don't waste your time Googling.
We're not Googling.
And you're not going to like my answer very much, but you got to slow down on the left-hand turns. If you think about it, especially a Honda Fit, being an SUV, they are a little bit top-heavy. The center of gravity in those vehicles is higher up, similar to what my pickup has, my Tacoma pickup, and it's a bit higher than a lot of the passenger cars where the center of gravity has been getting lower and lower, closer to the ground. So what happens is when you're doing a left-hand turn, obviously right-hand turns, you're going to slow down quite a bit because they're like a direct 90-degree turn, very sharp, so you can't do them very fast. You have to slow down. Left-hand turns, normally, especially in Florida, these are big, wide intersections, 4 or 5 lanes each way, and as you're doing that big, wide, sweeping left-hand turn, obviously in traffic, you're go with the flow of traffic, and usually traveling quite quickly. That means the weight of the vehicle is being transferred over to the right side, and because you're doing that left-hand turn, it's also going on to that left front, or the right front tire, rather. When it's pushing on that tire, it's causing the whole thing to roll towards that outside edge tread, and that's what's wearing it down.
Okay, however, Rick, I am not in big traffic. I am on streets where I'm, on all residential streets, going 20, 30 miles an hour through the streets. I am not in traffic.
But even so, here's an experiment. If you really want to try this one, it sounds crazy, but give this a try for like a couple of months, and see if that changes that wear on that right front. Do the UPS method. UPS actually came out with a survey, a study, and they had their drivers change their driving patterns to where they did not make left-hand turns. They had them actually plan out their routes to where they made right-hand turns every time they had to change the direction of the vehicle. And they found that it increased the efficiency of their routes by not having to stop and wait to make a left-hand turn. But I bet, and just as a corollary, I bet if you changed your travel pattern just for an experiment and made only right-hand turns and had a different tire up on that right front, I bet you'll see that edge wear will not occur.
That had to make the UPS drivers madder than hell, and I can't imagine anyone Can you imagine going somewhere and say, "Oops, I can't make a left-hand turn.
But I'll
I gotta
throw
go.
down the gauntlet.
I got to go an extra 2 miles."
But I'll throw
Like
down the
driving on
gauntlet.
like
That's-
driving on Manhattan. You know,
This
you
is
can
what's
solve it.
causing. This is what's causing the wear on that tire, because it's a top-heavy vehicle and left-hand turns.
Well, Tricia, if
are
you've got,
putting the weight on it.
if you're going to try that, I'd love to hear what happened. But I don't blame you if you don't do it.
Thanks, Earl. I don't have a computer.
Yeah, go do that.
The top is that. It is crazy, Rick. I don't see myself doing that. I would get lost. You're right. It was bad. I mean, I already put 2,000
That was Rick's
miles
plan
on my
all
car
along.
a month. But let me ask you this, Rick. So much for that. But are tires gonna wear? I mean, even with that, how could a tire wear out that fast? You know, no matter what. I see top heavy, blah, blah, blah. But it's just, you know, when I did the rotation at 98,000 miles, okay, you know, the tires weren't perfect, but it wasn't bald. I can't imagine even a Michelin or any tire wearing out
Okay.
that fast.
Let's wrap this up. I'm going to try a crazy solution, but not as crazy as Rick's. What if you were to put? I'm asking Rick and you, Tricia. What if you put some chalk around the right front outer edge of the tire and chalk around the left front edge of the tire, and then at the end of a day or two, look and see which has more chalk.
If you covered the entire sidewall of the tire, and you would see that it would obviously wear off more on the right side than on the left.
Yeah.
Now there's 3 reasons that would cause the tread wear on the outer edges of the tire. One is the alignment is totally out, and that tire, the camber is too far negative, and the tire is literally leaning onto its outer edge. But you said it's been checked and that the camber is correct. The other one is if the tire is being run underinflated, but that would cause both the edges of the tire, the outer and inner edges, to wear because of how the tire would be squishing down on it. And the third one is excessive speed in left-hand turns.
Okay, well, how fast or slow should I be going then?
I would try to drop it down to 10 to 15 miles per hour going around any turn.
Well, that's a lot more feasible than, you know, making right-hand turns.
Or I'll tell you what, come by and pick up Nancy when she's feeling better, and if she doesn't scream when you turn left, you're doing okay.
Okay, second part of the question. I am due for a rotation in about another 1,100 miles. I want to know if I could push it. I mean, I'm not on wet roads. I'm not on snow. You know, I got another 1,100 before I do another rotation. Obviously, I'm going to have to buy 2 more new tires. Yes, I have to. This one is bald. I'm going to get 2. I'm going to get 2 Michelins. Hopefully they'll last. Hopefully I'll go slow. Hopefully if they wear out too fast, they will replace them again for free. I don't know if they'll do that, but I'd like to know if I could push it for another 1,100 miles.
As long as you
So my
don't
next
have
rotation.
as long as you don't have cords coming through, then if it's a smooth surface, you don't see any like little
it's
blister
2/32
effects,
of an inch, right?
You'll be fine.
As long as it doesn't go down or below 2/32 of an inch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a way to measure that. I guess
Well, any service department can measure that for you. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's bald, so I don't know if they can measure anything.
Yeah. Okay, listen,
Okay.
Tricia, we got to go. Thanks very much. We're dying to hear what happened, so call us next week, please.
All right, Well, no, I'm replacing them at 1,100 miles. I'm getting 2 more new ones.
Okay.
Well, call us
right,
anyway. We like
okay.
you.
Yeah.
Well,
Call us
thank
anyway.
you. And, tell Nancy I hope that chicken soup works.
I will.
Thanks, Tricia. And now we have Lane in Fort Myers. Good morning, Lane.
Good morning. I'm thinking, or I'm trying to push my friend into purchasing a new car. right now we take long trips from Fort Myers to Missouri to Virginia, back to Fort Myers, and we're driving in a 1999 Lexus LS 400. And it's a beautiful car,
Yeah.
156,000 miles. I mean, the car is spectacular. But everything on it is old. And like, I think it has the original hoses on it, and it has original this and original that. And I'm just concerned about driving that sort of distance in a car that old, where if you break down, getting parts would be a real treat. But in any event, I was trying to convince her that we need to get something else, because we're carrying an animal in the car, a cat. And, you know, if I'm on the road and I break down myself, who cares? I can take care of myself. But with an animal and my friend in the car, it's not fun. But I'm looking at the Toyota 4Runner, and I'm saying to myself, could we carry? And she's also talking about getting a dog now, too. So it may be two animals instead of one. But looking at the Toyota 4Runner, I was on your website yesterday, and I'm a little bit confused about the car, and I've been trying to do research on it. For suspension, you have KDIS, you have K-Res, you have whatever it is. Can you tell me a little bit about the suspensions on these things? And from what I've read, the only one I want to get is KDIS, from what I read now.
Yeah. Well, I just told Rick I was going to handle this question because I thought you were going to ask about dogs in the 4Runner, which I have a lot of experience with. The suspension, that's Rick's subject. But if you want to talk about dogs, I'll follow up.
Yeah, the KDIS suspension, my opinion, is top notch. I mean, they're design. Each one of them is designed for slightly different road surfaces. Some are meant to handle more of slight off road, like going the backcountry roads, the dirt roads. Some are meant to handle situations like you're just happen to be going through Death Valley, like I've seen videos just recently. Apparently, certain highways in Death Valley are almost impassable because the road conditions have gotten washed over with sand and mud and debris. And the vehicle that did make it through was a 4x4 4Runner. And the video was incredible watching it do it. But yeah, personally, I don't think you can go wrong with either of those on the 4Runner. But if you like the specs on the KDIS, I'd go for it.
Are there three suspensions, the KDIS, K-Res, and just a normal suspension for that car?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's going to depend on the package you get as to which one comes on that vehicle.
Well, I'm looking at, obviously, the 24s are the year is coming out, and they may be coming out with a new car for 25. What's your opinion of the 24 versus the 25, or can you give me an opinion at all on it?
Well, the new 25s are coming out now, and they're available with a hybrid powertrain. It's a redesign. It's a lot of the specifications have been improved. Like the towing capacity has come up. The gas mileage is roughly the same, I think, on the mileage. Which
let me jump in and say this. Just remember, whatever car you decide. When you get a brand new model, there's always bugs, even in the best cars. If I were you, I would not go for the very first 25 that came out on any model. I'd prefer to stick with a current model that hadn't had a major change in a couple of years. That way, the bugs are fixed and the recalls and all that kind of stuff is taken care of. And you're talking about taking a long trip.
Yeah.
Yes,
but I was also going to say you're roughly going to get the same gas mileage as your 99 Lexus. That's about the same, around 20.
So,
yeah,
no, actually, to be honest with you, that 99 Lexus gets 28 miles to the gallon on the highway.
Wow.
When she's not pushing.
Wasn't it?
And
That's great.
That's using pen and paper at every fill up and figuring out what the mileage is.
Okay.
That's the way to do it.
16.
Well, your gas expense is going to go up a little bit then.
Yeah, but
Even with the hybrid.
For carrying animals, it's good to carry animals in that vehicle.
Yeah, I have 4 dogs, and for about 3 years I had the current body style 4Runner. I took them around, and now I have a Sequoia now. But they were great for holding the dogs around. And you have a cat, so there's plenty of places for them to crawl around and hide and hang out.
Well, this one we got to keep it in the carrier because the cat as a
I forgot.
one-on-one.
I had cats a long time ago. They don't like the ride.
But my last part of the question is, looking on the web and everything, it says, when you're buying this car, you should use a broker because you don't want to go direct to a dealer because the dealer is going to take you over the mountains. And that I should be looking for a 5 to 8% off MSRP. And I hate to ask this question of a dealer, but what's your feeling about this?
Lane, are you a Costco member?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you just answered my question. I answered your question. Costco auto buying program, you can't beat it. And you can check different zip codes, your zip code, or even go out of your zip code, find out who the Costco approved dealer is in that area for the make you want to buy. And that will be, if you go through the process and follow the instructions in the Costco auto buying program, if you follow those, you'll get the lowest price you'll ever get on a new car.
Oh, super.
Yeah, we have with Costco, for our dealership, every dealership has to sell it for the lowest price that they would sell it to anybody else. And in some cases, and you're absolutely right, the Toyotas are going to go for below MSRP in many cases, but some dealerships are still, actually a lot are still playing some games. So just use the Costco program, and I think, like Earl said, you can't lose.
Since you're driving the 4Runner with the animals, what's the ride like? Is it like the LS400, or is it really noisy and bumpy?
I had the TRD Pro versions, which have like off-road tires and a higher the little bouncier suspension. It's not going to be like driving your Lexus. It's a louder, bouncier, noisier ride. It's still on a truck frame platform. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I may be coming back to you just to look at more of these cars. Like I said, I haven't even driven this car yet, and I'm trying to convince her to buy it.
Okay, good luck.
Alrighty.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Thanks, Lane.
Bye.
And now we've got Bob in Lake Park. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope Nancy feels better.
Thank you for that, too.
Thank you. I saw something interesting. Nissan has a 92-day supply of cars, and they sent a letter out to all their dealers giving them permission to advertise the cars at 10% below invoice. And I was wondering if you ever saw anything like that before, and what's the difference between doing that and just the manufacturer giving you a rebate?
Well, that's an interesting point, a very good question. It brings to the spotlight a fact that most people don't understand. The invoice on a new car from any manufacturer is packed with quite a bit of profit. And most cars, for example, before COVID, when we were selling Toyotas, most of our Toyotas, about 2/3 of our car, the actual transaction price was below invoice. So there are certain models that if you pay invoice, which people think is the cost of the car to the dealer, if you pay invoice, you could be paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 profit.
The more expensive the car is, the more that profit is.
Yeah, and it's a conspiracy, and I know that word is thrown around a lot, but I believe there's a conspiracy between the manufacturers and the dealers, their organizations, to build this profit pocket into something called an invoice. Anybody you ask what is an invoice, you say that's what something costs. An invoice on this, invoice on a TV set, invoice on a refrigerator is what the dealer paid the manufacturer. Invoice on a car is not what the dealer paid the manufacturer. The dealer kicks back, or the manufacturer kicks back thousands of dollars to the dealer under the table, off the radar, so that you, the customer, never know about it. So when this manufacturer that you refer to authorized their dealers to sell the car $2,000 below invoice, they were advertised the car at $2,000 below invoice. They were doing one thing. They have a lot. The other part of the conspiracy, I know I'm rambling here, the other part of the conspiracy is that Honda and some other manufacturers won't allow a dealer, and even Toyota will not allow a dealer to advertise a car below invoice. And that is price fixing. That is telling the dealer he has to charge a higher price when 2/3 of the transactions he actually makes at this time in history, not this time, but before COVID, 2/3 of Toyota dealers' transaction prices were below invoice. Toyota says you can't advertise a car below invoice, so he's making you advertise a car at a higher price.
And there's another aspect to this crime. Nissan's concerned about their 92-day supply of vehicles in the lot, and they're telling the dealers, okay, you guys lose money to get rid of them. They're not doing rebates. Well, maybe they are, but they're asking the dealers to take the hit.
Yeah.
Right. I get it.
That's a long answer, longer than you wanted, I know.
I just wanted to say they opened up the new DMV on PGA Boulevard.
Yes. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I can't wait to renew my license.
Beautiful building. They went from 25 employees, which they had at the courthouse. They now have 40 employees, and they do take walk-ins, but you have to go after 4:30.
It's really nice. It's a big, airy thing. I remember it used to be a shack that you had to wait outside in line in the heat, and now it's a big glass lobby, and it looks great.
I got a suggestion for you. If you go to the DMV in Stewart, I know it's a long drive. They're nicer people. It's a smaller place. There's no hustle, no bustle. You get in, you get out, and so if you don't want to fight the big city DMV, go to the one in Stewart.
Yes, I've heard that.
I've done that.
People have told me that before. That go up to the next.
Yeah.
Up the.
Now they did, and during COVID, they stopped, and I don't think they went back because we just tried to do this with my daughter. And COVID, that you had to be a Martin County resident, and I think they haven't changed that because my daughter was not able to go there for her driver's license.
Glad you told me.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That must be my granddaughter.
Huh?
That must be my granddaughter.
That is your granddaughter.
Yes.
I have a quick question for Rick. He had said something about using axle grease on my corrosion problem for the batteries, and I was wondering, I have some of this Permatex that I used on the lug nuts. It's anti-seizure grease. Would that be the equivalent?
It's going to be similar, but I personally kind of hate the anti-seize Permatex, even on the lug nuts, simply because, first off, on lug nuts, you're taking a chance that lug might not get torqued properly, and that could lead to an issue of the wheel coming off. The other sort of it is that stuff makes a mess, and it gets everywhere. Axle grease is something that you can wipe it off with a couple of paper towels. Permatex, you're going to use 3 rolls of paper towel, 17 cans of brake clean, 4 gallons of Windex, and enough elbow grease that you don't ever want to do it. It's messy stuff.
Messy. Okay. All right. The other stuff is simpler. And I wanted to thank John at Palm City. He had chimed in about those little donuts to go over the terminals, and I did see them on Amazon, and you could buy them for less than $1. 2 of those. So
yep.
Yeah, he's a fellow Queensite. So I want to thank John from Palm City for calling in. Well, you got a wonderful weekend. I hope Nancy feels better. And
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you much. And those call-in numbers, by the way, folks, 1-877-960-9960 to speak directly with us, or the text number 1-772-497-6530.
You can forget the one.
Okay.
That's right.
However, next we are going to Marty in West Palm Beach.
Marte.
Good morning, Marty.
Sorry we missed you
morning.
last week.
How are you?
We're good.
I've got a quick question, I guess would be for Rick. My Toyota Crown, which is very nice, runs nice, but I'm not getting the advertised mileage on it. So I want to know, is there anything I can do to get it, or why am I not getting it?
Only take right turns.
Well,
Yes, I can do that, or just leave it in the driveway.
Take the brick out of your shoes.
Yep. It's going to come down to real world. You're never really going to get the same economy that they advertise with that, because they do that on a special test track. Very close
now, wait a minute.
conditions.
Now, I'm going to brag on you, and you're making an excuse for Bob, or for Marty. I guarantee you, Marty, I'll bet you.
Put some more air in the tires.
I'll bet you lunch that if you bring your Crown in and let Rick drive it home and back one day, or just enough time to get the measurement accurate in a gas mileage, he will get the gas mileage that is guaranteed on the sticker. It's just a question of how you drive the car, and maybe he can give you a few tips on how to drive. If you want to get better gas mileage, Rick can show you how to get better gas mileage.
But just bear in mind, I'm not really quite right in the head, so yeah, I drive in a very exaggerated
We've been
manner.
trying to keep that a secret, by the way.
But I can maximize fuel economy, but other people around me on the road
will hate you.
They don't like me much.
Yeah, when you hypermile, you can do that. You can ease off. You can take every advantage to use momentum. We weren't kidding. We've always advised putting more air in the tires.
Yep.
But you can, like you said, exaggerate the coasting distance, and you can get above the estimated. But like Rick said, you're going to get a lot of honking.
Even
and
down to
bad
the
looks.
simplest method of making sure that you're not carrying anything in the car that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Even a couple of
like
books.
Like I say,
Turn the
it
air off.
runs very nice. I have no complaint about that. And, like right now I'm getting maybe 36 miles per gallon, and it's supposed to get 41, I think. So, I mean, it's not a tremendous thing, but...
Well, and bear in mind that right now we've got some incredible heat for the past couple of weeks. So every time you're running that air conditioner, it's going to use more gas to try to get it to that temperature because it's hot out there, folks.
What is it, like 5 miles per gallon?
It
Yeah,
can.
it's about 5 less.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I put it in that eco mode for a day, and I didn't think the air conditioning was working as good.
Well, that's how they
So
do
put
it. Yeah.
back. I put it back to normal, and I just keep it on normal.
Yeah, eco's no good in the summer these days. It's going to be hot.
Thanks for the
so
call,
I-
Marty. Appreciate it.
I guess I got to live with it.
Yeah.
All right, have a good holiday.
All right, Marty, you too.
Thank you much. And next we are going to Chris in Davie.
Chris and Davey. Hey, Chris.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. I have a touch of laryngitis, so please bear with me. The previous caller just now might have answered my question. I just brought my 2013 Ram pickup truck, 150, 6-cylinder, into the shop a month and a half ago. I had a thermostat replaced and the brake modules. And prior to that, yes, sir, prior to that, I was getting, oh my gosh, 17.9, 18.1 miles a gallon. And now I'm getting like 15 and a half, 16. And I'm just wondering, again, like I said, you had just mentioned about running the air.
Yeah.
And with this heat, I don't know. And I'm just wondering if something wrong there where when they put in these parts, I don't know.
Well, one thing they may have done is there are two places on your vehicle where you'll find the tire pressure for the air pressure. One is on the sticker on the door jamb of the vehicle, and that is what the manufacturer says is the lowest pressure that you should be running in your tires.
Except they don't say that. They say
Right, they just say
recommended.
this is our recommended pressure, but that is the lowest number you should run. On the sidewall of your tire is the number that is the tire manufacturer says this is the maximum safe pressure that you can run in this tire. Now myself, I drive a pickup truck. I don't mind having a bumpy ride because I'm in Florida. We got horrible roads, so yeah, I deal with the bumps.
It's fun.
I will run the maximum air pressure that my tires can safely handle, and because it's got better air pressure, it's higher, that gets me better fuel economy. And the other thing is, and Google this and you'll find tons of videos that give great advice. It's called hypermiling. And basically what you're doing is you're finding ways to change your driving habits to increase your fuel economy. And of course, again, I'll say the number one method is take a look at your vehicle and everything that's in there that you can get out that takes away 1 ounce of extra weight is going to get you a tiny little bit of fuel economy better. So everything you get out of there that doesn't have to be in your vehicle, you're going to get better fuel economy.
I see.
But
Wow,
yeah, running
that's
the
pretty
AC
cool.
is going to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not a normal big AC runner. I like the fresh air, but again, what we're experiencing right now is like, oh my gosh,
No, it's-
110 degree index.
It's dangerous.
So I got the air running constantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's. I appreciate the great advice, and thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for calling.
877-960-9960. That's our number, 877-960-9960. Do we have any more?
And we do indeed. We have John in Palm City. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Hey,
Gas
John.
mileage is on my mind. I want to let you know that for this summer, you've heard of summer gas. Summer gas means that the manufactured petroleum companies are not allowed to put ethanol in the gasoline for the summertime. The Biden administration, 8 states, Midwestern states, petitioned them and said we were against this and we want to put it back in again. So it was too late to do it for 2024, but for 2025, the summer gas will be back in again with ethanol in it. So I just want to mention that. And also, basically, does anybody know the difference in the summer gas that no ethanol in it, that there's better gas mileage?
I can't say that the non-ethanol is going to get better fuel economy. It is going to be a little higher octane, so you're going to see a little less possible spark knock. And by having reduced knock, you're actually going to get better fuel economy because the engine's not going to retard the timing as much.
Okay.
It'd be a minimal amount, but you would see a little bit.
Let me ask Rick a question. On your Tacoma, can you tell me what octane you use and what brand gas you use?
I normally buy Costco if I happen to be close to them, and I run the 87 octane. I run 87 in my Tacoma and in my wife's 2019 RAV4, and no issues whatsoever.
That's my point also. You mentioned Costco. I would only get it at BJ's or Costco or Racetrack. And Rick will agree with me. The reason is when you buy from that source, they constantly check their tanks that there's no water inside your gasoline. Rick will tell you what a problem that is if a car comes into his shop and they went to a station that had gasoline, water in the gas. There's nothing but problems.
Oh, water causes havoc with the engines.
When you go to these large corporations, that's not franchise, it's run directly by them. There's a very strict standards that they constantly, almost daily, check the tanks that there's no water in it, and if it is, it's shut down and they're corrected. By the way, speaking about national chains, if they're so sure that the electric vehicle will be 100% in power, why in the world are they spending so much money, including just 3 Wawas open up in Stewart area, in Port St. Lucie, brand new? Why are they spending all that kind of money? In my opinion, the future is not going to be in total electric. It's going to be hybrid cars. So that's just my guess, because these companies are not spending this kind of money to put up a brand. The latest station is in Port St. Lucie Boulevard and Citrus Boulevard, brand new station, and it's what's going on is unbelievable, because you would think that the amount of gas stations would be decreasing, and instead of it's increasing, and the Wawa stations are a house on fire because they not only have gas, but they have food, and it's supposed to be Pennsylvania Dutch cooking. But I just thought I'd mention that because how in the world is the oil companies thinking ahead and still building these direct stations?
Yeah, Wawa is a very smart company, and I agree with you, John. I think they see the way the hybrid is going to dominate for many, many years, and They're apparently very bullish on selling a lot of gas. They also, of course, have electric vehicle chargers. And but the name of the game for Wawa is a gasoline hybrid combination, and that's what's going to be the main number for the next 10, 15 years.
Well, the ones I'm down on is that if you use your charge, it's another 8 to 10 cents a gallon additional, which is ridiculous, really, because the charge card companies, have actually lowered the cost for vendors.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, some of them will even put a 7-Elevens. If you leave, there's another like $50 or $75 charge until they find that the charge card that you use is legitimate and it wasn't stolen. So that's my objection, to go to a station that charges another 8 to 10 cents a gallon just for the privilege of you using your charge card.
Yeah, it's a bait and switch advertisement, pure and simple. You see the big sign on the road, and you whip in there, and who doesn't use a credit card now? So it's bait and switch advertised just like the car dealers.
Yes, I agree with you. Just thought I'd mention the summer gasoline, but for 2024, there is no ethanol in it in a summer gas, but it will be for 2025.
Okay.
Well, thanks very much, John. I really appreciate you. As usual, you're the most informative caller I could think about. There's some on YouTube that rival you, but as far as the telephone, you're number one.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Sorry, Marty. That's good.
And we are going to Bob in Pompano Beach.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. My daughter has a 2016 Toyota 4Runner, and the door handle came off on the back. And went to the dealership in Hollywood and Toyota, and they said they wanted $1,100 to replace it.
Oh.
So she's a school teacher, doesn't make that much money, but so she just put some plastic over it for about a month. So she goes, a funny thing, she goes to I think it's a Chipotle to get some food, Yeah. And the kid in the drive-through said, why don't you replace that door handle? You keep coming here. You get water in there, and So he said, it's kind of expensive. I'll wait till the summertime to do it. He said, no, you just replace the handle. You got the handle, I think, some phone number, and replace it for like $10. And, why do the dealerships do this? We'll never go back to that place and a Toyota dealership in Hollywood again. It's so stupid, Be fair. Maybe charge $100, the labor and a little $10 item.
Well, the guy that was trying to sell to you, he's on commission. He gets a percentage. The higher the bill, the higher the price of what you buy, the more money you make. So it's a combination of the capitalist system and morality. If you have a guy with low morals and ethics that's on a strict commission, watch out.
Earl, you're right. I know. I mean, I was born at night, not last night. I agree with you. But the sad part about it is it's not just the dealerships. I go to a eye doctor, and they keep pushing this cataract surgery. And I'm pretty friendly with people in the medical profession. I was in it myself and retired. And I mean, it's not necessary. A lot of cataract surgery is just pushed, and it's something that can lead to problems in the future, dry eye or whatever, unless you really need it. But there's a lot of areas out there in the medical profession, all over, that do this. And I think an outfit that really is honest and is fair and treats people the way they want to be treated, they'll do the best. Anyway, I don't want to take your time up too much. You have a great show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And our next caller at 1-877-960-9960 is Jersey Mike.
Yeah, how you doing there, Earl?
Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, listen, you and I got some shared old times with our hot rodding, if you recall our conversations. In any case, I got a couple of questions. Is there any way to find out? Okay, no, the first question, most important, is I know how you advise about not purchasing a car because of the shenanigans that goes on in South Florida. I understand that clearly. You did advise me to take a look at CarMax up north, maybe up near Sebastian or northern part of Florida, or maybe even go to Georgia.
Well, CarMax is honest all over Florida. They're an independent. They're not. Their corporate rules apply to all the stores. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, you gave me a name. It was Free something or other in Georgia. Free the town that is free something or other. Free borough. Free land. Because I'm looking to buy.
Stu just walked out of the studio, and he probably would remember. I don't. Rick is Googling something over here.
You may solve the question this way. If I lease a vehicle that's here in South Florida, I know how leases work. I've done it before. They're a lot less expensive, and if something breaks down between now and the time your lease is up because you don't own the car, they're repaired for free. That's the benefit of having a lease versus a large down payment. You can put a down payment if you want, but
sure.
Does it matter if I lease that vehicle right here in West Palm Beach? Because they have 3 of them over at Bremen Chevrolet.
Yeah, here when you lease a car, you should buy it first. Now, what I mean by that is, leases are complicated. There are a lot of variables with the rates and the residual. The administration fee, it's more difficult for the consumer to get a good deal on a lease than it is a purchase, and because it's more complicated. So the lease should be based on the purchase price of the car, and the lease contracts is referred to as a capital cost. So your capital cost determines the rest of the lease of the car. So don't even say you're going to be leasing the car. They look at you like they start to salivate, the car dealers, when they say lease, because the average profit they make on a lease is a couple $1,000s more than a purchase. So, but go in there and do your due diligence, like you've learned on this show, and you can use a Costco auto buying program. You could use TrueCar. You could use Consumer Reports. Get the best purchase price, and then say, I've changed my mind, I want to lease the car, and this is a capitalized cost. What is the lease payment on this capitalized cost? That way you eliminate a lot of the shenanigans that they can pull on you to get a big fat profit on a lease.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I want to know out the door price. I'm going to ask that.
There you go. Good.
I'm going to bargain on that number so I can eliminate the $3,000 to $4,000 junk fees. And if I'm successful, and I probably will have to go to the manager after the salesman hears me, the sales manager up in the booth,
Yeah.
But anyway, if I do that, I now have the actual out-the-door price. When I have the out-the-door price, I'm not going to say I want to buy. I'm going to say I want to lease it.
Yes.
Because that out-the-door price is the price that you should lease it at, which is going to be substantially lower than if you just said, okay, give it to me for whatever it is, whatever your lease price is.
Exactly. And look on the lease contract and be sure that out-the-door price you got is in the line labeled capitalized cost. That's what they calculate the lease payment from.
Okay. Does it matter if I get it here then in Florida or whether I get it in Tennessee?
I would get a couple of different, unless this is a manufacturer's lease. If you're buying a Honda and Honda Leasing is handling it, then you're good to go. But if it's not a manufacturer's lease, the dealerships can go to different sources for leasing. They can go to a bank and other sources. Generally, they use their manufacturer's leasing.
I can go to my own Navy Federal, which is a you're a member of that bank as opposed to just a client.
Mm-hmm.
Get a good deal there.
Yeah. This you'll get your best deal if you do it that way.
Last question: which has got lower sales tax, Tennessee or Florida? Is there a way I can find that out?
Google. Rick will Google that right now. Lower sales tax in Tennessee or Florida. I've gravitated from Google to ChatGPT as AI, and that.
.com because they don't sell my information, whereas Google does.
Yeah, but we'll have a number as soon as
then I can get off the line and take somebody else, and when you get the info, just please broadcast. I can hear it.
Tennessee is 7%. Florida is 6%.
There you go.
maybe the 1% is better yet getting it there because then I can go to a local dealer when I have a problem with it. But of course, if I buy it here, it doesn't matter because I can go to any dealer if it's leased, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that information. I sure appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Call again next week. Thank you so much. 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Or text us at 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530.
And our next caller is Lynn in Boynton Beach.
Hey.
Good morning,
How are
Lynn.
you? Hi, and I have my husband Tom here with me also who has a question. And I'm going to put him on first, okay?
Hey, Tom.
Hold on.
Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, how you doing?
Great.
Yeah, we have two Mercedes GLK 350s, 2015, the last model year. Yeah, I was wondering what does it say? Auxiliary battery malfunction has come up on one of them a couple of times, and I was wondering if you could tell me if that's like an emergency thing I should get to or what.
Rick?
I'm sorry, one more time on that? I was checking some messages on YouTube here.
He gets a message on his battery, a warning light on his Mercedes. What is the exact verbiage again, Tom?
Auxiliary battery malfunction.
Auxiliary battery malfunction.
Oh, and is this I'm assuming a hybrid car? Yes.
No, it's just a GLK Mercedes.
Really?
350.
Okay,
Yeah.
They must have a separate battery system or something. I would have that checked out because you don't want to take issues with a battery situation, especially here in Florida, where a battery can be good
Does
today.
he have to take it to a dealer,
and
or
tomorrow die.
can he find out what that message means without having to go to a Mercedes dealer? Because they get an arm and a leg at Mercedes dealership.
And here I'm going to go to my old standby. I would immediately go on the internet to Mercedes-Benz owners forums.
Okay.
Find a local forum of Mercedes-Benz owners and ask them. And I guarantee you there's somebody out there that has that information and can give you much better, they've got the direct in and they know what they're talking about. My other one that I would recommend checking with is, the name of it I think is Premier Auto Repair on US 1. It's just north of Good Samaritan Hospital. And
Okay.
I see them working on all sorts of high-end luxury cars. And, I mean, when they're working, their outside lot is full.
Let me
with all kinds
interrupt.
of
I
great
just
cars.
got an answer from ChatGPT. An auxiliary battery malfunction in a Mercedes-Benz vehicle typically indicates an issue with the auxiliary battery system. This smaller battery is used to power various electronic systems when the main battery is not in use, such as during engine start-stop operations, running certain electrical components when the engine is off, or in hybrid models supporting the electric motor. Common symptoms of an auxiliary battery malfunction include, and I'm not going to go on and on, but this gives you more than you want to know.
I don't trust ChatGPT,
And
just so you know.
it gives you everything the dealer would probably not know, and if he did know, he'd charge you
Along with some
$1,000 diagnostic charge. I'm
along with
exaggerating.
some AI hallucinations as well.
Well, this just in from Donovan. He says Mercedes has a second auxiliary battery that's usually in the trunk on many models, and when it dies, it'll give you that message. He says not serious, but it should be replaced. He says although some models that battery is located under the rear seat.
See, Donovan is better than ChatGPT. They cut to the chase. So check the battery in your trunk.
Very good. All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Also, my wife had talked to your wife a few times, Nancy and stuff, and they about dogs and stuff at the Big Dog Ranch. But we go down to the inlet down in Boynton Beach every morning, and last week we were sitting here and a green Jeep, a literal Jeep, was in the water going out the intercoastal. Luckily, I wasn't
floating.
Luckily, I wasn't the only one there, or I would have figured
Thought you
maybe just
hallucinated.
an age-related thing, you know.
Was a Jeep floating out, and were people yelling help, or was it actually moving as if it?
Yeah, it was moving. It was moving, but he was going into the ocean, and I didn't see him after that. So I don't know. I have a little boat. I was going to go out and see if I could grab it, you know.
Now,
all right. Well, listen. Thank you very much for the information.
You're very
Absolutely.
welcome.
I appreciate it. Okay. And hold on, my wife wanted to say one thing.
Right.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, this is Lynn.
Hey,
Hi, Lynn.
I also wanted to say that right now, coming down the road in Boynton Beach here, we saw this thing coming at us on the road, and it literally looked like a yellow and white egg. Okay, driving like a tri-electric. Tri-wheel, electric car thing, but it was to the road and real low, and it looked like an egg. It looked like an eggshell or something they had in some of these little races in Europe or something.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's the new Toyota omelet.
the omelet. All right. I love that. But I love to tell you guys these things that we see on the road because some of them are just amazing. You know what I mean?
It is.
But, all right. Thank you so much for all the information today. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Lynn.
Okay.
I
Thanks,
have
guys.
seen some power boats that getting out in the ocean. They're running out, but they look like a sports car.
Yeah.
And it's a boat, but designed to look.
I never seen a Jeep do that.
I've never seen a Jeep. Now, hey, they had the Amphicar. Maybe they got an Amphi Jeep now.
A Jeep doesn't seem very aquadynamic to me.
Yeah. Okay, and we now have a first-time lady caller, Gianna. Gianna, when you finish speaking with us, stay on the line for Jeremy, and he'll get your mailing information so Earl can get a check out to you. But you just won $50 for being a first-time lady caller.
I'll tell Nancy, and Nancy will get the check out.
There you go.
Hi, Gianna.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing great, but my name isn't Gianna. It's Donna.
Oh, Donna. I'm sorry. They typed in Gianna here.
That's Jeremy's fault.
I'll answer to anything. Well, good morning, gentlemen. I have a question. I recently bought a brand new car down here in Florida, and I'm going to be leaving it here for the summer. I'm going back up north to work, and I was wondering if you could recommend a car coverage cover or something that, I see a lot of people covering their cars with these particular covers, but wondering if they harbor moisture, if different color is better than a black one or as opposed to a gray one.
If you look, I've only done this in response to, we've had questions about car covers on the show before. And so I go to Amazon because, auto parts stores stock these, dealerships stock them, but you're going to get a better deal by getting it from just a well-regarded supplier on Amazon, and you can go by the reviews and I'm looking on right now, and they range from $30 to $70, and so and some of them have great reviews with tons of them. There's a manufacturer called Kame or Kame, Kayme, and they have they call them 6-layer car covers, and they're waterproof, UV protection, and they look very lightweight, and and those are on the more expensive side, but that's $65. So let's see here. The good ones look like they're in the $60 range, and I would just go on Amazon and order it. You could get one tomorrow morning.
That's great. Yeah, I did see one. I even saw one that was 10 layers. I figured maybe more layers is better, but
yeah, I mean, there's some big name ones too. Like Armor All makes their own too. We're not a fan of Armor All's spray products, but this looks like. But they're also actually, I'm not a fan of this one because this is a sponsored one, and it's $80. That's the most expensive one I've seen so far.
Everything I buy on Amazon, I buy Amazon's best recommendations.
Yeah.
And they're pretty reliable. They go through it.
That's what I
they
do too.
consider price, quality,
Reviews.
deliver the whole 9 yards. Every now and then I get burned, but 99 times out of 100, Amazon recommended is pretty good.
Yeah, and you can return it if it's no good.
Well, thank you very much for that advice, and we'll be doing that today.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960.
And we are caught up at the moment.
Wow.
Oh, good.
My goodness.
I can't wait.
That was a busy morning for phone calls.
That sure was.
9:20. We messed with everybody's head with not being on the air. We have Marty's asking us questions when we're not there. Roadrunner Steve graded our mystery shopping report last week. Again. Hey, that's great. But I got a good one from Gary. Sent this in this week, prior to the show here, and it is about it's a news story here right here in South Florida. A woman who was killed last year in a car wreck because the vehicle that she was driving had a counterfeit airbag in it, and it exploded. Like a grenade, detonated like a grenade, and shot metal and plastic shrapnel throughout the vehicle cabin. Her name was Destiny Biassi, and she was a mother, and she bought her vehicle from Drive Time. There's a lawsuit going on now. They're suing the manufacturer, the seller. There is a manufacturer of these airbags that. You have the same information here, because I know this is a topic that Earl is paying a lot of attention to. There's an actual Chinese company that is known for putting these things out in the market, and Drive Time's being sued. We've mystery shopped them before. We've mystery shopped them for Takata airbags before, and let's just say, without me looking at the records, nobody did well in South Florida. Nobody was checking. So here's a real world example of something that happened in our backyard, with a local seller of used vehicles who didn't do the, we don't know what they did because we didn't in this situation.
I don't think anybody's checking. I think this uncovered a really, really dangerous situation that needs to be addressed. So, yeah, it's scary. The message is, if you're buying a used car or even any vehicle that might have had an airbag replaced, you need to get verification that was a certified, qualified, NHTSA-approved airbag, because apparently there's a thriving market out there for putting in cheap counterfeit airbags. Here's who's being sued in this. It's Mannheim Auto Auction, where the car was bought. This is Mr. Reliable. They're the big. The almost only the wholesale auto auction in the car with a counterfeit airbag. Right. As Stu said, the dealer, Drive Time, is being sued.
And Jumbo Automotive. Let's say Drive Time bought the car wholesale, sent out Jumbo Automotive to do the airbag replacement, and they didn't. Not only did they use.
If I was having my car repaired, I don't think I would choose a collision center called Jumbo.
Right. Well, not only they put the counterfeit airbag in there that was sold to them by Gillen, they also failed to repair the seatbelt pretensioner, which is the thing that tightens up and keeps you in place. So it was also a faulty position, and so it was a big mess. But what did it was that counterfeit airbag.
You know, when we heard about this, we were establishing a new set of policies, because now when we buy a car at the Mannheim Auto Auction, we buy a lot of cars from Mannheim Auto Auction, we're going to have verification that the airbag, if it's been replaced, is a real airbag. And the same thing when we trade a car in from a customer. The whole thing is kind of like a duh. Why didn't we think about this before?
Well, we're speaking with our service and body shops for a way to be able to identify these things every time we see a vehicle come in.
Yeah, and we haven't been doing it. Nobody's been doing it, so we got a whole new thing to worry about now. It's not a huge problem because not that many airbags are replaced, but the problem is you don't know when. When you put an airbag in, you can't see it. It's gone. You could check the wiring, and you should. That's part of the checklist of the things that we should be checking now before you buy a car with a replaced airbag.
Man, Enterprise is getting sued too.
Yeah.
I forgot because they said they should have taken it out of service.
They were renting the car.
Crash, yeah.
Yeah.
Mannheim, Drive Time, Jumbo, and then wow, it's a big mess. Okay, I think. Oh, here's a good one. This is from Bob. He says he has a question. Good morning. In reference to the maximum tire pressure, if you fill your tires to the max, like we said, the one not in the door jam on the tire, he goes, if you fill it to that maximum pressure, in South Florida, wouldn't the summer heat, would the pressure exceed the recommended?
No, it will.
Right.
But the tire manufacturers take that into account, and they tell you that when you fill the tire, you should be checking it with your tires cold. In other words, the car should not have been driven for at least 1 hour.
Okay.
So the pressures will be a little bit lower, and they take that into account.
Do they take into account cold in Florida is 110 degrees?
And they do take that into account as well, because they even prepare for, just in case, like if you're going through Death Valley or the middle of Nevada with the heat there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know, and I like that with planes too. That basically the envelope of tolerances are way beyond what you would normally operate them in.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you think about what airplane tires have to go through, that's a huge difference.
Okay, let's move on to a text from Richie. He says, recently I had the oil change in my 2020 Avalon XLE 6-cylinder. I chose to use one of the tire company stores because the tire rotation was included in the price. I would have used your car company had that been included in the oil change. They used 0W16 when the car spec is 0W20. Not feeling right about that, I returned and had the shop change out the oil to the OEM 0W20 oil. Should I change it again at 5,000 miles to get all the residue of the 16W oil out of the engine? My question is, how important is that? Can I just wait to the next 10,000 mile mark? And also, is 5,000 or 10,000 miles the better interval to change the oil in newer cars? Thanks, and I appreciate the show. Keep up all the good work. Thanks.
The engineers that built that car said, if you run this oil, you're safe at 10,000 miles, and they would have used it for the 0W20. If you had to run 016 in it for a short time, that's not going to hurt anything. And changing it out and going back to the 20, that was the proper way to do it. Obviously, that gets the shop should have done the job correctly, and they goofed up. So, but no, I don't see a reason to change it again early.
Yeah.
I'd say you'd
traditional oil in, and it was a mistake. If it to be drained out, put the synthetic in, it's not going to hurt anything.
Well, that one I'd be a little more nervous if you were running a thicker oil.
No, I'm saying draining it out,
right,
and then replacing it.
But what I mean is, if your car called for 0W16 and they put a 5W30 in it, I would be a little more
upset
along the idea of, let me run it for 1,000 miles, and then 2,000, and drain it back out and get it out again, because that thicker oil is more likely to cause issues than the thin oil.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And let's see, are we caught up here? No, we have Bob also said, good morning. I'm sorry, that was the same question. We are caught up. All right.
How about anonymous feedback?
I got to go over to the mail because I can't access the actual box anymore.
And we didn't have Anne-Marie today?
Anne-Marie, I think, is mad at us because we were off there.
I'm going to read anonymous feedback because it's something I was talking about before the show started. This came in last Thursday. A question for Earl. Does your Tesla have the latest version, FSD 12? I heard it's exponentially better these days. Now, this is the new autonomous driving. And when I came in the studio this morning, I was talking to the gang about the fact that I have switched on autonomous driving on my Tesla Plaid for the past couple of weeks. And everywhere I go now, I'm using autonomous. And I was going to be talking this morning about how amazing it was. Not only is it safe, I'm thinking to myself, but it's also a better driver than I am. And I hate to say this, but it actually drives faster than I do. Rick mentioned earlier about he gets a lot of people yelling at him because he lays back, he doesn't, people like to pass him. He's trying to get good gas mileage. I have my idiosyncrasies when I drive, but my Tesla Plaid with the new software is amazing. It gets me places faster. It takes routes that I didn't see. And
was this the new software that almost killed you coming off I-95?
Well, that's what I'm getting to now.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You're getting ahead of me.
You started.
So I'm getting ready for the show. So, Nancy's sick. She's home. I said, okay, I'm going to the studio, of course, on Autonomous, because I'm going to talk about how great this new Autonomous is. On the way to the studio, it's running just fine. I passed and this is South Florida, on alternate A1A, there's a community called Admiral's Cove, and they have a stoplight out there, and I'm on alternate A1A. Long story short, my Tesla Plaid on Autonomous ran the red light. And I was on top of it. I didn't override the Autonomous because I saw that it was going to be okay, and I was there on watching it.
Did your Tesla run away from the cop too?
I didn't have to find out, fortunately. Now, I'm thinking to myself, why of all the subtle great things the autonomous Tesla was doing, why would it do something stupid? Like I saw the red light, everybody saw the red light. Why didn't the Tesla see the red light? It dawned on me, Elon Musk, if you're listening, it was around 7:30 in the morning here in South Florida, and the sun had risen at 6:28 this morning. Sunrise was at 6:28, so around 7:30, as I'm heading south, the sun is on the east, and it was right in the eyes of the Tesla cameras. I had my sunglasses on. I had the sunshade pulled down, so I could see very, very well. Because I had a human being, I pulled my sunshade down, and I could see the red light. The Tesla camera could not see the red light, and it ran it. In other words, a life-threatening defect. So, Elon, if you're listening, please make note of this. Now, there's one more incident. There's a small clover leaf area that I get on I-95 off of alternate A1A. So I got on I-95, and I get off at the first exit, which is North Lake Boulevard, to go to the radio studio. Again, now I have that sun blazing in my face, but my eyes are protected. I got my sunglasses on, and the Tesla should have made a right-hand turn to get onto North Lake Boulevard. Instead, the Tesla turned on the left turn signal, and I'm looking in my side view mirror, and the Tesla is getting ready to pull in front of a car that's coming up on me fast on my left. Yeah. Again, the Tesla cameras were blinded by the sun at that particular angle. I overrode the Tesla Autonomous. And
how is the struggle against that? Is it easy?
It was pretty hard. I had to yank.
You have to fight them.
I had to yank the steering wheel pretty hard, and they yanked it out, and I was fine. So anyway, there's for you Tesla owners out there, especially the ones that have the autonomous feature. If you could call or text, or we'll stay in touch. I need to get that message. I get a little message on my display screen on my Tesla that said, "Why did you take it off autonomous?" But when you're on I-95 doing 75 or 80 miles an hour, you're not going to be using the why I took it off autonomous.
No, you're not doing a survey at that point.
Yeah, not doing a survey. So.
It's interesting because those are the type of situations I don't think it should be an easy decision. Your Tesla knew there was an intersection there, and it knows there was a light there, okay, but it didn't have good information, but it made a very bold move without good information.
I was too fast on that. It actually hesitated back and forth a couple times.
Oh, so it was trying to figure something
Yeah,
out.
yeah, it was.
When you were telling the story, I was thinking what a human would do.
Yeah.
Because you go, I know there's a light there, so
Yeah.
you're not just the camera that stares. You squint, you move, you're trying to figure out what's going on. So your car did that. It
Yeah,
just
to
got the
be
wrong answer.
fair, it would have, even if I was not paying attention, the way it jiggled a little bit,
You would have alerted you.
it was thinking about something. And also the second fatal error, it jiggled a little bit. So again, if I wasn't paying attention, which I was, I would have been able to take it. But the bottom line is, it is not ready for production yet. It needs to be. It needs to be watched carefully.
It's getting ironed out.
But it is immensely better than the old. I mean, I'm telling you, when it works,
Yeah. It's scary. It's good.
it's scary good. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to try one out with the new, or maybe I'll try yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, it is time for our Big Dog Ranch Rescue segment. We are going to feature our sponsored dog of the week. This is Roger. We try to do this every week, and we had Roger ready to go, but we missed a couple of live shows because Earl called in sick. But we're going to show you a video from Big Dog Ranch Rescue featuring Roger. He's a 1-year-old dog. He's a mutt from Texas. And he's about 40 pounds, and they're going to tell you all about him. You're going to see him if you're watching the stream on YouTube, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, or tune in over on Facebook, facebook.com/Earl on Cars if you want to see this dog. Otherwise, you're going to have to hear it. Just listen to the description. So this is like I said, a beautiful little mutt dog, and we're going to roll the tape now, and let's go ahead and watch. Uh-oh, I don't hear a tape.
No tape.
No tape. Well, there's the tape. No audio. Okay, well, I will fill in like subtitles. Roger.
He's wonderful with other dogs. He's in a bunk with about 3 other dogs, and they all get along incredibly well. He's amazing with people, children. He loves his toys. He loves to swim. He loves everything. He's amazing. And I'm going to show you that I even taught him how to sit with treat. Ready? Roger, sit. Who's a good boy?
Hey.
Very, very easily trained.
Yeah.
He's very smart. He's got a lot of energy. He loves his walks. But I think he's gorgeous. I was thinking about renaming him Bandit. You guys obviously can call him whatever you'd like. But again, this is Roger, little over 1, and he so is ready to go home. And he is so lovable, I cannot even tell you. So please visit our website, bdrr.org. Again, bdrr.org. And bonus, we are having a Mother's Day special. So we would absolutely love it if you'd come out to the ranch, visit Roger on our website, and certainly visit him in person would be absolutely wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Well, all right. So you heard it from BDRR right there. That's Roger. He said he's about 40 pounds, 1-year-old, 3 months, and since he's our sponsored dog, you go through us, let us know. We will pay the adoption fees. Just reference Earl on Cars. One thing, let you know, I just saw this on his sheet. He is Ehrlichia positive. I had to look it up. It's just he got bit by a tick, and he's got a bacterial infection, so it means he's going through a round of antibiotics, but he'll be fine.
They take him real carefully.
Yeah, and just so y'all know, people cannot catch Ehrlichia from dogs.
Ooh.
You can get Ehrlichia if a tick bites you that has Ehrlichia, but you can't get Ehrlichia from Roger here. And I know they said they were thinking about changing the name to Bandit. I like Roger. Let's keep it Roger.
I do too. Roger that.
Roger. Okay.
Here's an interesting thing that in last Sunday's New York Times, there was an excellent article. A dog scientist, unbeknownst to me and a lot of people, the the pedigree dogs now are becoming so inbred.
Yeah.
They're getting to the point now where it's actually almost prohibitive to buy a pure breed dog. I never knew this. The American Kennel Association, in the fine print when you adopt a pedigree dog, they describe the dangers. But I've always bought, and up until my affiliation with Big Dog Ranch, I've always thought you're going to buy a Dachshund, you're going to buy an Airedale, you're going to buy a Labrador Retriever. I thought in terms of dogs by brand, and until Big Dog Ranch came along and came into our lives about 15 years ago, that was the way I thought about buying a dog. Back then, you could buy a pure breed dog, and they weren't that bad. But in the past just 10 years, the inbreeding is becoming off the chart.
I read there's a big graphical present in New York Times did a thing on inbreeding.
That's what I was just saying. And Sundays,
they listed it from the least inbred, which would be a Corsa. What are those?
Well, all that list. If you look carefully, that list they had there, all of that was to be watched.
Yeah.
The worst
were down there, like golden retrievers.
Yeah.
And that's what I was. We're looking at that the average lifespan of a golden retriever is like around 10 years old now, and in the 80s or the 90s it was 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
And it's from all the inbreeding.
Yeah, and some of them are actually the bulldog, a particular breed.
The French one. The French bulldog.
The French bulldog is so inbred that they are actually, they even before they get sold, they have serious problems.
Yeah.
And so, as just bear in mind, I'm not telling you. I have a lot of friends, a lot of people that do buy. They want a Yorkshire Terrier, they want a Dachshund, they want a Labrador Retriever. I understand that, and it's a very personal thing. But just be aware that if you do, genetically, these dogs are bred, brothers and sisters are commonly bred. And in the human race.
What happens there?
Yeah, what happens there. So you don't want to have that if you can avoid it. Rick?
German Shepherd dogs are known for hip dysplasia.
Yeah.
And they're like we're always intended the ultimate service and guard dog.
Yeah.
For police
and they're not effective
military.
now. I've seen pictures. They show a picture of a German Shepherd from 1945 and a German Shepherd now. Their legs they're angled down to the ground. They've completely changed the animal.
Yeah, the French Bulldog is amazing. The head of the French Bulldog, they modified it so it would look good at the Westminster Auto or Dog Show.
But they can't breathe.
And they can't breathe. Yeah.
They don't breed. Yes, exactly. Could you imagine if the same effort made to breed dogs to look cool was made? The most healthiest and long-living traits that they could find. They could probably get a dog that lives 50 years.
Well, you get somebody like Roger there.
That's right. All right.
Good healthy mutt.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Are we ready for
mystery shopping report?
So.
Yeah. We used to shop at Borsanda every now and then. We haven't in a long time. I'm so glad that we went back. They've been there for a long time. They're just off I-95 and Riviera Beach, Florida. And Ed Morris, as you know, is a chain, getting bigger and bigger. The grandson is the owner now, Teddy Morris, and I think he's up to something like 25, 30 dealerships now. They're really growing fast.
Not to mention a couple of Harley dealerships, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he owns the one up in Daytona now.
I didn't know that. So here we are with Ed Morris Honda. And I'll speak in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning. When I went in to see if they have the morals and ethics and honesty that we're looking for. We'll be grading this show, on the show. We'll ask you listening to text in or YouTube in or communicate with us other than by phone your score on an A, B, C, or D, F. F, rare. A's are very rare. But we grade on the curve. So if it's an average dealer, which ain't too good, a C. So here we go. I arrived during lunchtime, went up to the customer service girl, smiled, and said hello. I was wondering if anyone is available for me to talk to about getting a new car, I asked. Did you schedule an appointment by chance, she asked. I replied, I have not. She said, okay, no problem, yelled out to a salesman, CB, are you available? CB walked over, greeted me with a handshake, asking, what brings you in today? I had an Accord a few years back, and I'm interested in possibly getting another one, I replied. We headed over to the desk. He asked me if I had a certain color I liked. I pulled up on his, he pulled up his Honda Accord inventory. I decided on one after seeing their online inventory. CB said, I have to tell you up front that all our vehicles come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. That's a joke. Mud guards, wheel locks, and screen protectors for an additional $30,995, $39.95, almost $4,000. I don't want wheel locks. I hate those, I said. CB
Way to go, Agent Lightning.
CB replied, well, most of that $4,000 is a powertrain warranty. I choked when I read that. And comes with all of our new vehicles. You also get an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the lithium hybrid battery. That sounds to me like the factory warranty. So why he would mention that amidst those junk fees, I'm not sure. Switching subjects, he asked, do you currently lease any vehicles? Are you a recent college graduate? Or are you in the active duty retired military? No, no, and no, I said. He appeared a bit taken back by my irritation and said a little indignantly, I was just looking for additional savings for you. That's not professional, in my opinion, for a salesperson to act indignant to a customer. Anyway, after I picked the car from his computer, a new 2024 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport with an MSRP of $34,445, he asked, what exactly are you hoping to do today? You wonder about these comments. I want to buy a new car, I said. CB paused for a moment, smiled, and said, great, and asked for my license. He excused himself to get the keys. CB returned a few minutes later, let me know he would pull it up front for me to drive. As promised, a minute later, he pulled it up by the front door. The Monroney label was in the right place. Well, I'll be darned. That's rare. We don't normally see that.
It's always exciting.
Here in South Florida. In the right place. That's on the window, affixed to the window. And the MSRP matched what I saw on CB's computer screen, $34,445. The package described by CB was also there, the Ed Morse Honda Protection Package, and lifetime powertrain warranty for an additional $3,995. And contrary to what he said earlier, most of the extra charges came from the junky add-ons, not the junky warranty. So he doesn't even know what his own addendum label says.
Can I point one thing?
Sure.
$575 for wheel locks.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They're like $40.
They're like $40 online, and it takes 10 minutes to install them.
Yeah. That's what dealer installed accessories are. They're extremely overpriced to give a big, fat profit margin, and nothing like something that costs you $25 that you charge how much for?
$575.
Yeah, crazy. We went on a nice test drive. He went over all the safety features of the car. Are there any regular, anyone can get rebates on the car, I asked. CB quickly replied, no, but I'm going to work hard to get you a good price. Once back at the dealership, we went to his desk. He asked if I would be financing or paying cash today. I replied cash, most likely. He excused himself to speak with his manager. A few minutes later, CB returned with his sales manager, Raul. That sounds familiar, and I think Raul's been at Honda for quite a while, which is a good thing. Stability when the same person is there for a long time. Usually car dealerships have extremely high turnover. Raul asked, what type of price should I show you today?
What type of price?
What type of price should I show you?
I'd like to see your highest price.
I gave a puzzled laugh and said, your best one, of course. I'd prefer not to go back and forth, and I want to know my final price. He thanked me for being honest.
That's so cheesy.
I
appreciate your honesty.
We didn't thank him for being honest, but he thanked me for being honest and said he'd get that for me in just a few moments.
Except for she's not really being honest.
No,
She's
true.
pretending to be
That's
somebody.
true. I'm an undercover agent, right? They went away to the sales office or somewhere, probably to the break room, had a cup of coffee, smoked a cigarette. Several months later, they returned with Raul saying, we think you'll be happy with the price today. He said they offer several packages and would go over them with me as well. CB presented a laminated sheet of paper titled Ed Morris Honda Preferred Benefit Program Package. He said, all of it is to be optional. Well,
That's a weird typo. It's all optional.
All of it's optional.
Is be optional, I think I wrote.
But he'd like me to choose what I might be interested in. A lot of vagaries here. CB went, that's the name of the game, right? Vagaries. CB went through each item with me one by one. I said no to everything, and then he finally showed me the pricing for the Accord. The top line was MSRP $34,445. And here's this, a whopper of a $200 discount. Hey, and in case you don't realize it, the COVID thing is over, the supply chain interruption is over, prices are down, cars are being sold for substantial discounts from MSRP. So there was a $200 discount. Ooh. But then they added the $3,995 package of the dealer installed accessories, highly overpriced accessories. But then they took off another discount, this time $3,400. That's probably what all the accessories cost them, was $3,400, and they charged $3,995, $4,000. But then they added a $999 junk fee and another $304 junk fee. And Stu wrote this, and
I might regret this.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to retract that, but he said there are more ups and downs than an airline flight. I won't mention the name of any airline flight.
Okay, thank you.
But you get the point. Up and down, and dizzying discounts and markups and MSRP and addendum labels. They're trying to get you dizzy, so you really don't know what the hell the real price is going to be. And here we are. My actual price before tax and legit fees was $35,783, a whopping $1,338 discount. No, this is a discount. Nope. Good Lord. $1,338 above MSRP.
Yes, on Accord.
Wow. That is just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm prejudiced thinking the scores now. I apologize. I told him I'd be in touch after I talked to my husband. He thanked me for coming in, applied no pressure, and then walked me to the door. Along the way, I noticed a kitty cat laying in a soft showroom chair. He said, lying, I would believe would be the correct term, lying in a showroom chair. He said, she has become the dealership kitty cat and keeps all the mice away. Nice little chuckle.
But not the rats.
Not the rats. The rats are still there. Very good, Stu. Yow. He walked me to the door, gave me a business card, and said he'd look forward to hearing from me soon. www.ain'tgonnahappen.com. So there we are, grading on the curve. 99% of our scores are a B, C, D. We have maybe 1% A's and F's because you really got to be a criminal to get an F, and you got to be perfect to be an A, and it just hardly ever happens. So C is average. South Florida is the Sodom and Gomorrah of car dealerships, so a C would almost be a good score in South Florida. So if you can text us your score, we'll read those on the air right now.
It's true. I got annoyed at Teddy Morse when I was reading this because his people weren't bad, but they're being forced to go through this presentation, even be shown the price. They had to go through almost like a F&I menu presentation before they were even shown the price. Yeah. The addendum. First I thought, okay, we've seen this trend where people are leading with the addendum, and I'm wondering if that is coming from the salespeople who are, why are you still making me try to justify these huge markups when the market's changed? So maybe they're leading with them because they don't want to take the blame or just get it out of the way. But someone, but Teddy Morris is responsible for all that, and so it's.
Well, the fact of
it's
the matter,
such-
Teddy Morris has no idea what's going on in the
Right.
trenches. He
thinks he's got your back.
Yeah, right. He got 25 dealerships outside of making TV commercials with his leather jacket and his cool beard.
He doesn't know what's going
He
on.
doesn't know what's going on in the dealerships, in the trenches. He's got a bunch of commissioned general managers that are running the stores. They get a percent of everything
Right.
they can steal from the customer.
They might be telling him,
Yeah.
but he's going, okay, that sounds great. we got the Ed Morse protection package. Perfect, do it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just as an aside here, I know we're running out of time, but Ashley Moody, Florida's Attorney General, is going after Starbucks now. She's going after Starbucks for what, I'm not sure. Now she
For
lets,
being woke.
She lets Ed Morse. She let Ed Morse and the other South Florida dealers screw their customers, take advantage of them, and violate Florida law over and over again. And she's going after Starbucks
Because they took the Christmas tree off their cup.
yeah, and so because it's a politically viable target that'll buy her votes, and also she's probably getting lobbied by the union because the union is trying to unionize Starbucks right now. But politics is so disturbing to me, especially when it comes to something important like state attorney generals. Anyway, I digress.
That's okay. We got some grades coming in.
Good.
And first one here from Bob. Dot dash dot is an F in Morse code. I'm sorry, that's the best one
I
I've
bet he
ever
was.
seen.
Who was
That's
that
the
from,
best.
Bob?
That's from Bob.
Bob, I bet you're a Boy Scout. I remember my Morse code pretty well.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I learned it, and I was I was starting to laugh too hard. Dot dash dot. That's great. Jonathan Pomco says $4,000 for a powertrain warranty, junk add-on, $600 for wheel locks. Run, do not walk from Ed Morse dealerships. A dealership that takes advantage of its customers deserves less than a stellar grade. They get a D- from me, and I'm feeling generous today. I am definitely not feeling a C or an average. This I think is below what we should expect, even in South Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with a D.
I mean, really old school. I'm talking old school.
Yes. Yeah. D for me.
Okay, I've got T Cash says Chat GTP says hard F for the $39.95 protection package, worth maybe $300. Did I say maybe?
A couple times.
Joe did. F. Dealer installed options and fees and no real discount off the MSRP. Over here we've got Tim Gilliland. Too many games and a not so good price. C-. Joseph Kelleher, D-. Mark Anderson, grade C-. Don't mind spending the time, but probably work out a better deal. Mark Smith, I give the dealership a D. Tom Steckel, D. Too many games and moving parts. Hard finding an ethical, upfront Honda dealer these days. Johnny Z. Fradley, D. Plain and simple. The Ed Morse protection packages protects you from keeping your money. I love my YouTubers.
It's just you think this will get old with me, but I get emotional about this. The problem is that the people that are being fooled are the people that are not informed. This show, we're preaching to the choir. 99% of our listeners out there, and the ones that stream us or whatever, they're actually giving advice. But the people that need the advice don't listen to the show. They don't stream it. They don't know what's going on. The number of people that fall for this whole thing is just a crime. That's the reason Ed Morse Honda sells a lot of cars.
Yeah.
I mean, they sell a lot of cars. And they do it this way, and people are paying them thousands of dollars more in profit than they should have to. So I'm gonna give them. I agree with this too. Would you give them a C-? I
give them a D.
D. I'm gonna go with a D too.
Yeah, shame on them.
Shame on Teddy Morse. You live down here, I think. I know you've got too many dealerships around the country, but why don't you? Do you think that remotely that maybe you don't know what's going on in your own stores? Why don't you mystery shop? No, you're too famous. You'll have to have somebody else mystery shop for them.
He's very famous.
Either that, or take off your leather jacket and mystery shop them, and don't write your motorcycle in because they'll know who you are. Yeah. But shop your dealership. Find out what's going on. And if you think I'm lying, sue me.
Yeah, you'll make more money.
Yeah,
Come on.
sue me. If you think that what we just said is not true about your car dealership, contact your lawyers.
I sued your daddy before.
Yeah. Oh, your grandfather. Your grandfather sued
But
me.
wasn't it Ted?
No.
It was Ted.
It was his father.
His father, right.
His father sued me, yeah.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on the D for the vote.
Not for the radio show, for something else.
Right.
Yeah.
But maybe we ought to do a mystery shop on his Harley dealership.
Well, that's not a bad idea, except I don't know if...
You just want to go ride bikes.
Agent Lightning doesn't know how to ride a...
Rick's mystery shop. And then we took another test drive. And then we tested drive another one.
Hey, are we out of time, Jonathan? Do we need to go?
We have 2 minutes.
But Nancy has a grade for us. I asked Nancy for her grade.
Oh.
And Nancy gives him an F. And I was gonna give him an F for Nancy if she didn't respond, but Nancy gives an F. Fees. Too many fees.
Yep.
Thanks. I hope you're feeling okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thank you, sweetie
Get
pie.
better soon, Nancy. Get better soon, Nancy.
Yeah, I'm going to go home and heat up some mom's chicken soup for her.
There you go.
Yeah.
A little Vicks Vapor Rub and help her feel better.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'll just mention one thing, then we'll get off. It's official in the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit Court, National Automobile Dealers Association, Texas Automobile Dealers Association versus Federal Trade Commission, petition for review of final trade regulation. And here's my amicus brief of Earl Stewart Toyota in support of the Federal Trade Commission combating auto retail. And we have one other dealer, J.D. Tomlinson in Gainesville, Florida, who has joined the amicus brief. And so...
Wow. In my whole life, I never thought you would do an amicus brief, but now that's an accomplishment.
CARS, Combat Auto Retail Scams. So we're pushing it, and we need more dealers.
When do they decide?
Teddy Morris, how about joining the amicus brief?
When does the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decide the issue?
July, hopefully.
All right.